Hey everybody, welcome to the crash course on how to systematize your job search and get the job you actually want. Major shout out to Hayden Cassidy, Dion Hines, and my wonderful colleague Mary Seiss for requesting this one. So I'm gonna cook it up here. Let's jump into it. For context, I'm someone who's been a janitor, a landscape worker, a bank teller, a grocery bagger, a dental assistant. The list actually goes on, but I finally found my calling as a recruiter. And I said all that to say that I kind of know my way around the job hunting process, and there's a few key ingredients that have made me successful in my own right. And I'll just share them here. So, number one is having a goal and knowing exactly what you want out of this next opportunity at the specific time in your life. So, you want to establish that from day one. Are you in the position where you just really need a job to pay the bills? All right, cool. So you know what you need to do right now. All right. Or are you in the time of your life where you found your calling and you really want to continue to align with that? All right. Now, you already know where you fall in here. So that brings me to number two, your resume and LinkedIn. The only reason this isn't number one is because before you do anything, you want to check your state of mind and your current reality before you make a move that's going to impact you and or your family's livelihood for any period of time. All right, so we all know your resume is critical, but some things I just want to point out is that you want to make sure your resume and format is just at the bare minimum aesthetically pleasing, or just the format is in order. Personally, my resume is pretty basic with Times New Roman font, but the format is just consistent throughout. Of course, you want to make sure that there's no spelling or punctuation errors, and man, I have some horror stories for that, but I'll save those for later. The next aspect is number three, which is your routine. I think this is critical. Your routine, your schedule, and outreach. Now, this has everything to do with what is exactly best for you. You want to get into the routine of applying for jobs and performing outreach, because it's like working out. When you go to the gym sporadically, you're less likely to keep up with the routine and your health could suffer. But when you keep at it, when you stick to it, you will win. You will win. So you want to put it directly into the calendar of your phone, write it down, put it on the refrigerator, whatever works for you. Now, even though I'm saying that it should be systematic, we're humans, not robots. So having your favorite podcasts, songs, movies, your favorite coffee, whatever it takes for you to get in the zone to get that done, you should do it. All of those things are a part of your system. That's a part of the infrastructure of what's going to make you successful. And I think we should all take that seriously, because it's critical. It's really important. Whether you get a chance to apply for an hour before the kids wake up, or 3 hours in the morning, eat lunch, take a break an hour and a half, and then go at it for a couple more hours in the afternoon, it's up to you. But make it enjoyable, but get it done. I like to call applications and outreach seeds of opportunity. That's because of the way that serendipity works. When you put the work in, the world tends to reward that kind of action at some point. And whenever I'm speaking to people that I've coached or helped in the past, especially if they're having trouble finding jobs or something like that, I'll ask them how many jobs they've applied for per day. And they usually say 1 to 3. And I usually say, okay, all right, let's get that number to 5 to 10. So even if it's 5 per day and you take off on the weekends, at the end of the month, you'll have about 100 seeds of opportunity planted in the universe. After you have those seeds planted, they'll eventually grow into the continuation of your career journey. And from there, if you're still not getting any calls, you might want to increase that number or adjust the approach of the jobs you're applying for, or switch it up a little bit. Switch the job boards, switch something up. All right. Okay, that's the three-part system for systematizing your job search. The next piece is how to get the job you actually want. This one is critical because sometimes it seems or feels like a mystery, but I think there's a science to it. Before anything else, do some introspection. In my course, we'll go through those exercises step by step together, but take a couple personality tests, really dig deep into it, do some introspection, and think about your career journey and what your story will look like, and what do you want to tell your grandkids? What do you want it to sound like? What do you want it to feel like when you're telling that story? Do you want to be proud? This is how to manifest your dreams and get to the next steps and the next level in life. And so with that said, one of my favorite entrepreneurs ever, Don Peebles, said in his book, you have to get into the mix. This means general networking at events, creating an initiative or a business that incorporates your dream job, making it a point to reach out to people within your target industry every single day. This is where your routine comes in. And if you're doing that every day for a month, you'll probably have some really detailed insights. For example, if you want to work in finance, after making introductions and things like that, the questions that you ask your potential colleagues or potential leaders is those questions would be really pointed and specific because it's something that you're interested in. That might allow you to become noticed as a person who is engaged, and you'll be at the top of mind for current or future opportunities. The next thing is post on LinkedIn. I know that it could seem a bit daunting to try to post things that are professional here, but you're going to be judged either way. Like every single time someone sees you or hears you, they're judging you. There's no way to get around it. So it's likely that you're watching this on LinkedIn right now. And I totally understand. You have to judge it. And sometimes that little voice is going to tell you not to do it. And you just have to ignore it for that one little second before you click post. Because guess what? You'll survive. And you'll start to hone your message. And if you don't post anything, people won't really know what your perspectives are, or people won't really know who you are, and it'll be harder for you to be at the top of mind for other opportunities. So get in the mix, network, and post content that will show your future employer your ability to craft compelling messages about your industry, and eventually people will start to point you in the right direction of people that may be able to make some warm introductions, which is key. This is key. Warm introductions is key, and this is how it happens. Once you show your intentions and show that you have some solid skills to offer, you'll start having those conversations with the people that you've always wanted to meet. The next thing is to connect with the recruiters, especially those that operate in a high volume for your specific career field. If you're a software developer, you should be familiar with those tech recruiters. If you're a business development person, you should be familiar with those recruiters, and so on. Lastly, if there's a skill gap, close it. Go get the training or resources required for you to become successful, whether it's a degree, a certification, an online program, whatever it is, go get it, because at some point, you'll consistently start to hear what your shortcomings are when you speak to recruiters on the phone and things like that. Don't be afraid to ask them either. Don't be afraid to ask them, hey, okay, so, all right, I want to do X, Y, Z. Where am I lacking and where should I improve? These little things will help you get to that next level. And one resource that I always recommend for people that are interested in anything tech related that I'm involved with, I recommend General Assembly. General Assembly has some amazing resources for all of the technologies of the future, such as data analytics, software development, UX design, and there's a lot. They really have so many programs, and to all my veterans, your education from General Assembly is 100% free, so check them out. So to sum it up, how to get the job you actually want. Number one, introspection. Make sure you're making the right decision for yourself and your family. Think about it. Number two, you'll want to get in the mix of your future colleagues of your target industry. Network is important. Number three, post a little bit on LinkedIn. It's okay. Don't be afraid. Number four, connect with the recruiters within your target industry. That's key. Number five, skill acquisition if you need it. If you notice you need to brush up on some skills, I highly recommend using the resources. YouTube University is very helpful. General Assembly is very helpful. There's a lot of things that are free out there. Do what you can to get where you need to go to get to those next steps. And if you do all of those things, you'll be perfectly fine. This crash course series has actually inspired me to create a more detailed version where I break down these tiny pieces and go through them step by step by step. Super special announcement coming up soon about that. But okay, so I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good day.